You know that a cop is who killed one of the victims? One of the two people that died supposedly were killed by a cop. And another person had a gunshot wound. And the only person that didn't have a gun. So that means anybody that got shot was shot by police. How interesting is that? You know, I really think people need to take the time to read the Israel Hayom article. Shit, I think I forgot to put it in the description. Oh well. Yeah, Karen, hello again. They shut down the comment section from my perspective, so I had to reset. You know, the totally normal, natural thing that you've ever seen anybody else ever say in their entire life. You watch all the videos that you watch. Have you ever seen anybody else talk about the fact that the comment section is shut off from their perspective? The answer is no. Nobody's ever seen that before. When you're seeing something new in this world of cookie cutter, everything is the same. When you see something new, doesn't that catch your eye? Isn't that something that makes you maybe pay attention more than you normally would? You care so much about Jewish children, you should probably adopt them so you can save them. Yeah, that makes sense. Duh. Instead of trying to expose, like, see, this is what I mean. This is the kind of Jewish logic that you see everywhere. That's just like, you honestly thought that would be a good response to things? Not, yeah, we need to expose this. Let's unify and make the voice as loud as we can. It's, you should adopt them. Let's say I could, right? Let's just say that was a possibility. That I could somehow adopt a child out of Israel. Even though it's not the adopted children that, I mean, it is them, but it's not just them that's being abused. Most of the abuse is done by the family members and whatnot. It's not the abandoned children that are being violated. It's the everyday children. But to think, like, as stupid as it is, it's like, oh, you think you know, what's happening in Palestine is bad. Why don't you go there then? Yeah, fix it. But let's just say I could adopt a child out of Israel. How many do you think I would be allowed to adopt and therefore save, instead of trying to bring awareness to the issue itself and hopefully preventing the issue so millions of children don't have to deal with this shit? Like, to think that literally somebody thought that was a good comment. And this is the admitted Jew who claims to be against Matitza B'Peh. This is the best that you could come up with. Why don't you adopt them then? Duh. What a fucking moron. This is on the lines of, you know, well, the police don't have the money to investigate. Well, the abuse is so bad that the parents don't believe them. It's that same stupidity. And really, dude, I'm sorry that you were violated. That sucks. But what if you saved and brought awareness? Yeah, okay. I'm not saving anybody by adopting them. One, I can't do that. That would be a tremendous process. That would be this huge distraction and all that. It just wouldn't happen. But I'm not trying to make this situation more difficult. I'm trying to make it as easy as I can. And the easiest thing to do isn't to adopt a child and try to save one child. I'd rather save all of them, you dumbass. But this is what I mean. This is the person says the first thing and now they're trying to dig out of it. Like, it's just stupid. But this is their mentality. And again, this is somebody that was more than likely abused. You know, this is somebody who's not going to sit here and go, yeah, you're right, this does happen. It happened to me. It was my rabbi. It was my uncle. It was my father. It was, you know, they're not going to come out and say these things because they you know, they're well brainwashed. Just wanted to see what you thought about the. Are you saying the flotillas fiasco? I mean, what's there to say? How it's what happens. This is nothing new. It's just on a much larger scale. But flotillas trying to bring much needed supplies. Why doesn't whoever suggested adopting them do so, as it's something they obviously had readily come to mind? Yeah, no shit. Who even thinks about that? Who stopped process? Well, the guy saying it should adopt them. Talk about voter fraud, and they're like, well, why don't you get out there and vote then? What? Well, I don't think I've ever been abused unless my mind has locked away the memories. Sometimes that happens with survivors of abuse, for sure. That's something that is a large claim in the Israeli community, is that it does do that. But at the end of the day, why would anyone trust you? You're a lying ass Jew. You have no credibility whatsoever anyway. You wouldn't acknowledge it if you could, because it would out the people closest to you. You know? These are just, it's a vicious cycle, and it shows you that it's no, the planetary object arriving in October or early November. Yeah, obviously I have no idea what you're talking about, because I definitely don't waste time in that department. There is no object, coming at us in space, and it's not real. There is no space. The setting that we have is a total lie, a total manipulation, and I just don't even pay it any mind anymore. We go from TikTok rapture, TikTok apocalypse, or whatever the fuck it was. We go from that to now there's the objects coming from space, and just distraction bullshit. I couldn't care less. If there really is some space object coming and there's aliens and there's then we're all dead. Who gives a fuck? But instead of being distracted by yet another provided distraction, let's focus where they don't want us focusing. The Israel Hayom article was on April 5th or April 25th. It was in April of 2025, sorry. It was in April of 2025. And not a single other media outlet published anything, picked up the article, looked into it. Why do I know about it? Why am I the savior for the Jewish children? It's just so strange, man. There should have been a tremendous response to that article. Knowing the context of it. Knowing that it's not some outsider. Surprising it was even published to begin with. I love when people try to be like smart ass. Team Ore, yeah, well, I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense. If you can make it make sense some other way, I'd love to hear it. But instead, it's just bullshit. Yep, I'm hilarious. Killing pedos is hilarious. The incredible rape problem is hilarious. The same people that are bringing genocide upon a population they're starving and have been abusing for 76 plus years, they also happen to be really fond of raping and abusing their own children. That we're not like unified in our condemnation and obliteration of this monstrosity is just shocking. It's embarrassing. Like, I don't want to be a human with you guys. You guys are awful. I've been abused. You either look that way, you either lock that away like a prisoner worthy of no rights, or throw away the key. Otherwise, you're the prisoner and you don't see the key. Well, what's up, Matt? It was hiding it again. No, it wasn't. We're just lying about that. You're lying about that. That's not what's happening here. What I think is strange is not even strange is telling is that, like, if I were to say what happens when a woman gets raped, right? We've all been programmed that what happens is she goes home, she sits in the shower and cries. She locks herself away. She pushes everybody away from her. And even if the police try to help her, she makes it difficult. She becomes this introvert, this this broken person, and the rest of her life is ruined. And that's the narrative we've been given, like 99% of the time in any TV show or any CSI or Criminal Minds or anything like that where they delve into that subject matter. It's the same narrative over and over again. So it programs women as to what to do. You never see a woman that happens to them and they're like, fuck, this is bullshit. I'm furious. Obviously I was desirable for that person who couldn't have gotten me any other way. So they had to commit a crime to get me because I am so desirable. They are horrible pieces of shit. I'm going to do everything I can to work with the community, work with my family, work with everybody that's trying to help me. I'm going to do everything I can to ensure this person goes to prison and stays in prison. And even if they somehow they slip through the cracks in our fucking broken ass judicial system, well, I'm going to make their fucking life hell. The story you almost never see is the woman that got raped and then gets let off, or then the abuser, the rapist gets by on a technicality. She hires a hitman and kills him. You never see that story happen. Why? Because they don't want women to do it. They don't want women to think that's a viable option. So they don't show it. They've told you how to respond to being raped. The Israel Hayom article repeating over and over again that the abuse is so bad that that the people, that when the children tell what's happened to them, the adults don't believe them because it's so atrocious and so awful to think about. Even though it's been happening in the community forever, they all know it happens. For your child or a child to tell you these things, you shouldn't be like, oh my gosh, I'm so shocked. But that's what they do. And that article's doing the same thing. If anybody happens to read that article, they're going to read that if they were to say something, they wouldn't be believed. And that narrative is just pushed over and over again. You won't be believed. That's what she's meant to do. Exactly. That's how they do that. It's a process, not all walk the same road. No doubt. No doubt. But a lot of it again is they've been long programmed on what to do. If they would have been programmed from an early age that there are other options, then then they just wouldn't have, they would have other places to go to thought process wise. This idea that the woman, what were you wearing and shit like that, like it's appalling. At the same time, living in the society we live in, it should be that you can dress however you want and nothing can happen to you. It should be that way, but it's not. So you should probably be at least a touch conservative in what you do. And if you're not going to, if you're going to dress as sexy as you can, which, all power to you, then don't let yourself get sloppy drunk. Don't put yourself in a dangerous situation. You have to think that way. And I know women don't like that thought process, but like if I had, if I hit the lottery or I go to the casino for some stupid reason and I happen to hit a huge jackpot, I'm not going to walk around Detroit being like, I just hit the jackpot. I'm rich. Look at me. I'm rich. I got thousands of dollars in my pocket. I can't believe how much money I have on me right now. Like, that's fucking stupid. But after the shock and awe and getting mad, then comes getting even, and the roads then are many. Yeah, but they're not taken. And more importantly, they're not shown. You literally never see that. The only thing you ever see is the woman pushing away police, being difficult, pushing away her family and friends, It's the process is covered. It's terrible. Where can I find this music? And the links below. www.the-bilderberg, DILDERBERG-group.com. It's free to download, free to listen to. All we ask is that you share with someone. When it asks you how much you want to pay, you just put 0 and it's free. We know how you people like free. It really does suck that there aren't more Jews out there that do give a shit. Like, I've been doing this for such a long time. The numbers game is 100% against. Right? 100% of the time, they come in and say the wrong things. And it's again, you could hide behind, well, that's just your opinion. No, it's a universal truth. It's a universal truth. Nobody should be abusing children. Nobody should be cutting baby penises and then sucking on them. Nobody should be doing ritualistic abuse, sticking shofars in people and shit like that. Like, it just, in children. This is universal truth. You can call it opinion all you want, but it's a universal truth. This is unacceptable behavior. Look at this shit. Look at the crybaby just, you have ADIQ. Remember, if you're a detractor of God, you're just a Jew. More than likely you are. But if you can give me the reason why you're a detractor, I'd love to hear it. I'm only left to my devices because when I ask this question, none of you seem to answer it. So you leave me to my assumptions. I'm trying to make it make sense. I can't imagine why anyone other than a Jew, I can't even imagine why Jews do it, but I know from my experience that this is how they operate. But I can't imagine why anybody would oppose the guy that thinks we should kill pedos. Why anybody would oppose the guy that thinks we should overthrow the chosen control scheme that we all know exists. Hmm? You have the floor. You could be sitting here pointing out what I'm wrong about. You could be explaining why you're a detractor, but you don't. When given the floor, when given the opportunity, you'll say something stupid. Like you're typing something stupid right now. You should, you should have your gun loaded, ready to fire. And when the questions are asked and you got your bullets all loaded up, you should be able to fucking spit them out there. I'm here because of this. I literally set alarms every day so I can come watch you every day for hours on end. Because they're so entertaining. Duh. Come on, where's your rebuttal here? Yeah. Too bad you haven't been correct about anything, but it makes sense, right? It makes sense that you would keep coming here to argue dumb nonsense, even though it's not working out for you. You still just come here every day begging for the same attention. Makes so much sense. Like there's not a whole bunch of other people you could be doing this with that would probably agree with you. But you want to argue shit like you're some sort of expert, and you're not. Nothing stops you from making your points. Whether I read them or I engage in them, your points could be made. But you just have nothing. Every time I explain why I disagree, you conveniently miss the comment. Yes. Let's see. Why you disagree. Where can I find the music? Every time I explain why I disagree. See, we see these comments all the time where they claim that I'm somehow doing something. It's guy's favorite move. Missed the comment. Yep. So it's hard for him to answer and ramble on about the Jews. Guy, why aren't you going this harshly on Islam and its Sharia laws? Again. So the comment before that was that I call my detractors Jews, and I explain, like I address the comment, right? And I give the floor and say, so tell us why you're here. If it's not because you're a Jew or you're a pedophile, what is the reason why you're here? What has you so upset? The next thing this dumbass says is some shit about I should be talking about Muslims instead. Why aren't you talking about Muslims? So that's your thing is because I'm not talking about Muslims? That's what motivates you? Funny how, again, you don't seem to address. You cry and cry and cry for attention. Then when your comment gets the attention you're looking for, you prove the point. You just prove the point and say something stupid. They're just dumb inbred Jews. I don't know what else to say. They definitely don't prove that incorrect. But which religion is worse in your opinion? Let's see. The one that practices Matitza B'Peh? They're all Abrahamic religions. Right? So you have the worst one, which is Judaism. You have the most loyal one, which is Islam. And you have Christianity, which is the dumbest one. Because the Christians have been tricked into thinking the Jews, a completely different religion, are their gods, their Christian gods, chosen people. Like, it's just fucking ridiculous how stupid they are. But they're all three from the same source. That's why they're called the Abrahamic religions. That's why the Quran mentions Jesus, and you know, because it's all just one big control scheme. And so what am I going to focus on? The two slave religions that were given to us to distract us, or cut the head off the monster? I'm not going to focus on tentacles. I'm going to talk about the head of the monster. But this isn't something that, again, like, this is logic. This is reason. This is intelligence. This isn't what you guys like to deal in. This, whether it's Matitza B'Peh, whether it's the whole mikvahs and the women having to do their monthly mikvah bath, and just all of it. It's all just insanity. The kaparat, transferring sins to a chicken, killing the chicken, and then donating that meat to the poor, so the poor goyim eat your sins. It's fucking insane. Do you believe in a higher power, like maybe a god, or multiple gods, or some sort of universal consciousness? Or are you an atheist, or something else? Do you not care much about it? No, I don't care. The only reason I care about religion is because of how it's used against us. I don't care at all about what happens after I die. I don't. I hope the world is better because of my efforts. But like David Cross says, man, give my body to necrophiliacs and let some people get some use out of it. I don't give a fuck. I'm dead. If it was up to me, my body would be allowed to be taken into the woods and, be torn apart by animals and just become a part of shit. Funerals, all that shit, that's all just so weird and goofy. Funny how he doesn't address the point, but happily rambles. Yeah, what point wasn't addressed? What point wasn't addressed? There wasn't even a point addressed. Oh, the point was, why don't you go harshly on Islam? No, I did address that point. You're just really stupid, I guess, and didn't hear the point being addressed. Abuse of children is horrific, point blank. But why is it you only care about the Jewish side rather than every religion that enshrines child abuse? I don't. I care about all of it. Why do you want me to stop talking about it? There are plenty of people talking about the ritual, the child abuse in Christianity and in Islam. Why do I need to talk about it too? I want to talk about something that's not being talked about enough. But why does it bother you so much? What has you so upset about what I'm saying, other than you're a Jew or you're a pedophile? Now you're finally, after all this time, you finally say child abuse is horrific after all this time, and you think that's going to give you some sort of credit? Nothing. I addressed the point, literally, just rambled about Jews and called Islam loyal. See, this is where it's this person's just done. Why even bother addressing what this dumbass has to say? You will learn to respect Jews. I predict this. Yeah, I bet. Based on what? I'm going to somehow start believing in fantasy bullshit? Is that what you're saying? It's so crazy to think you guys have the open floor. You could say anything. Like I always say, it's not like you're sitting on this really great argument and you're just waiting for the right time to say it. You're literally saying the best you can come up with, and this is it. And this should be extremely telling to anybody that's watching. If I'm wrong, it should be super easy to focus on the thing I'm wrong about. Instead of asking dumbass, well, why aren't you talking about this instead? Why do you want me to talk about something else? If you want to hear about how bad the Muslims are, go find any number of white guy pages that are rambling about Muslims. You definitely, I'm sure, it's obvious you don't want people talking about the Christian side of things because you never bring that part up. What about all the insane amount of rape that is consistently been in the church, the Catholic Church, the entire time? Especially the Vatican and shit like that. You definitely don't seem to want to talk about that. You seem to really be determined to talk about the Muslims. Talk about the Muslims. But this is, this is what I get. And then they'll cry because I ignore them. There's no sense in addressing dumbass comments when they can't even stay on point. They can't address what's being said. You didn't address the point. Yeah, I absolutely did. Absolutely did. And in doing so, not only did I address your point and how stupid your thought process is, I asked you to elaborate on your motivations. What motivates you? And for some reason, you could never seem to answer that question. Should the history of the Jews not be respected? Can't you be proud of Jewish achievements? Give me some. Yeah, give me some. I'd love to hear these amazing Jewish achievements that are supposed to override their disgusting, foul, repugnant nature. Some of the kindest people I know are Muslims. Of course they are. Just acknowledge them, and can we move on? Oh yeah, well that's it. Then just acknowledge it and move on. Yeah, okay. What would you prefer us talking about then there, guy? I love when people come onto my feed and try to tell me I shouldn't be talking about the thing I'm talking about. Why would anybody ever be that audacious? What is wrong with you? You really should stop talking about exposing the child rape and trying to do something about it. You should be caught up in the bullshit politics game. Karen got kicked off again. Why is Karen the one that keeps getting kicked off? Seems strange. Everybody else is complaining about being kicked off. The only person that seems to be is the one person I know to be a real decent person. Everyone else could easily be a bot, an act-IL profile, whatever. And yet, Karen's the one that keeps getting kicked off. It seems to be pretty strange, but to me, I think I believe really highly in universal truth. And universal truth is shit that it doesn't matter where you go, who you're talking to, whatever. The truth is obvious. So when it comes to child exploitation of any sort, it shouldn't exist. What are we fucking talking about? Why is this even a fight that I have to make? It's a universal truth that we should be fighting this shit. It's a universal truth that you should, take showers. It's a universal truth that you should, and I'm not saying you should shower twice a day, once a day, every day, every couple days. That's fine. Just, people shouldn't go weeks, months without showering. That's a universal truth. We all know that that shouldn't be the case. We all know that like, you know, a universal truth is that you should give a shit about other people. You know, that you playing your music at 4 a.m. as loud as you possibly can with all your windows open while other people, it's a universal truth that that's a piece of shit move. And sure, there's black and white, and sure, there, you know, there's this or there's that, and maybe, come on, let's just be realistic here. It's a universal truth that you can pray to God all you want, and nothing's gonna happen unless you do something about it. It's a universal truth that genocide is wrong. It's a universal truth that starving people is wrong. Purposefully starving people. These aren't, you know, I mean, yes, they are opinions, no doubt about it. And when you start lining up, you just go, so what is the you know, it's not like there's some sort of scale, a right and wrong scale, but it's just a human perception. It's something that we all, you know, if you wouldn't want it done to you, you shouldn't be okay with it happening to other people. And fighting against universal truth is just fucking ridiculous. These are the things we should be fighting for, is these universal truths. Free speech is a universal truth. You should be allowed to say anything. People, oh, so you think the KKK should be allowed to say, yeah, go right ahead. Not only do I think you should be allowed to say what you say, but people should be allowed to respond to you in kind. And no, I don't think you should get violent with any KKK members. Not until they're violent with you. But not because of anything they have to say. Who gives a shit if they're just some ignorant pieces of shit like that? Who gives a shit if they're fucking, you know, they say, you know, black people N-bomb this and N-bomb. Who gives a fuck? Why would you ever get mad? You know why they're saying those things? They're saying those things to get you mad. So you do something that makes them look like victims and gives them the higher standing. Gay friend, trans friend yesterday said, you know, the F word. I don't want to say it because of the censorship bullshit, but it's also called vocabulary and decorum. Yeah, you'd think, but she says that if somebody drops the F word, she's throwing hands, and it's like, why? Why would you ever put yourself in a position where you have to give Jews money? You end up fighting with someone. Either A, you beat them up, and they have to go to the hospital, pay the Jew doctors, pay the Jew hospital, pay the Jew insurance. And you end up getting arrested, have to go to court, get the Jew lawyer, get the Jew judge, pay the Jew system. Or you get beat up and have to go to the doctor and blah, 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 blah. Either way, they've tricked you into committing crime to fatten their pockets over some words somebody says, especially if it's like some stranger or some shit. Like, you'd have to be stupid as fuck. Typical Christian white male isn't saying things that, like, if somebody's calling you the N-bombs or there's the F words or whatever, If somebody's saying that, they don't have anything in between the initial thing and the bottom of the barrel. If somebody's scraping the bottom of the barrel because, they're saying something that is universally not acceptable, and they're saying it to get the reaction. They're not saying it because it's like, oh, well, let me just say, you, sir, are an N-bomb. That doesn't make any sort of point. If anything, you reacting in a violent way proves the point. But a minute is this not someone who expects tolerance? I don't know who you're talking about. Tolerance, I just think it's fucking silly to think like, at the end of the day, the only time you get upset with something, what they're saying is correct. Nobody gets upset with some random, crazy guy that walks up and says, you're 28 feet tall, ha ha ha. You're not gonna be like, motherfucker, call me 28 feet tall. Motherfucker, come on, let's go. Let's go, what the fuck, I ain't 28 feet tall. Come on, motherfucker. You're just gonna laugh and be like, no, I'm 28, okay, buddy, 28 feet tall. All right, see you later. You wouldn't even think twice about it. You might tell a joke about it later on that day. Yet that same person comes up to you and says, you're balding, or you're fat, or your belief structure is stupid. There is no Jesus, whatever. What are you getting mad for? If it's not true, then what are you angry about? Boot it again, this is ridiculous. Yes, it truly is. And it's, the average person will talk about the booting. They're not going to talk about, why is this happening? How is this happening? Did you not say your trans friend would hit someone if the F word was used towards them? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Someone who expects tolerance is then going to respond with violence. Like, it's just silly. It's fucking silly. The thing is, too, I switched it up there, but normally I would say, if somebody walks up to you and says, hey, it looks like you have trouble with impulse control and you're significantly overweight, and that's not healthy. You're going to die sooner than you should. You're going to live an unhealthy, unhappy life. And I want to do everything I can to help change that and give you a much longer, happier, healthy life. They're not even going to be able to get those words out. Because as soon as the person realizes you're saying they're fat, they're, well, you're fat shaming me. You're fat shaming me. That's rage bait. Shaming is a good thing. It can be. It definitely can be. But you just can't shame someone for something that isn't true. It doesn't work that way. Nobody can shame me for being Chinese. This is silly. Voice to type doesn't really work, but good luck. You're out here, you two out here protecting the biggest. Who gives a shit? I think I'd much rather know who the bigots are than you not have the freedom of speech to be able to identify yourself, and I got to sit here and be friends with you. Look at you any sort of way. I'd much rather know you're a bigot from the beginning than put any time into you and find out later. But this is, this is all part of it. Like, if there's anything you, of all people, should not be doing, it's skateboarding. You fall walking. Seven viewers, 5 likes, as usual. Less than 100 views anymore. I noticed that I had miscalculated, and I was distracted by the Kirk thing because I was, it coincided with the Kirk shooting that my feed was censored, like, to the day. But I also think it was right around that time that I made the decision, like, there are these forks in the roads with me where I make these decisions. And it goes back to January of 2020 when I said, I'm no longer going to focus on chemtrails and vaccines and all of these things spread so thin. I'm going to say we need to eliminate Israel. At the beginning, it was cut off Israel and use that money to create the ultimate pedophile hunter program. But it evolved into what it is now. But there was a drastic change that happened with my feed when I made the declaration. Literally, you saw a difference overnight. And this has happened several times in my history doing this shit. And it happened again when I said, I'm going to start focusing on I'm going to start focusing on this Israel Hayom thing. Coming to the realization that I am the voice for the Jewish children. That's a strange thing. It's a strange realization. And it's that realization that I need to really focus on, because that is what I believe got my feed censored. Along with the Charlie Kirk thing, because just like with everything, I'm going to focus on small pieces. I'm going to focus on, there's lots and lots of different parts in this puzzle and lots of different things you could focus on. But I'm always going to try to focus on a universal truth. And to me, from the beginning, whatever was under Charlie's shirt, and then the thing moved to his neck, like, that's the thing that needs to be focused on. The Israel side of things is the part that needs to be focused on. There's all kinds of other goofy shit. Erica Kirk. How come Erica Kirk's makeup is never messed up? She's crying, isn't she? She lost her husband and, assassinated. Bullshit. Wasn't assassinated. He was killed. Assassinated on live TV. Your makeup's not, you're not bawling and sniveling and snot and tears. Like when people cry, snot and tears come out. When people are really crying. Where are all the cell phone videos? Immediately, the Kirk shooting reminded me of the Trump shooting. Comments get shut off again? I think the comments might have gotten shut off again. We passed that 45-minute mark. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the crying just stopped for a minute. But I'm starting to think the comments got shut off. And with everything that's gone on with the Kirk shooting, it's starting to get whittled down to those points. The text exchange. The text exchanges is just absolutely goofy as possible. Absolutely as fake as possible. And you're seeing these videos where people are asking, ChatGPT and all that, what they think, and ChatGPT is saying, absolutely, Israel did it. It fits a pattern, it's what they do, yada, yada, yada. Like, it's all just coming. Okay. Karen just said the comments are still running from her perspective. So yeah, they're not. I don't see the comments. YouTube out here protecting the bigots. Wow, is the last comment I can see. So, that's the fucking point, guys. At this point, my videos are not only the most honest telling videos on YouTube, but it's also showing you so much more than I can even manipulate. When you realize that they continuously shut the comments off, that they continuously fuck with my feed in ways you don't see anywhere else, that should wake you the fuck up. I can't provide you with a signed document from Donald Trump saying that Guy Williams is right, and we fear him, and we don't want his platform raising, so we interfere with it and fuck with it. I can't provide you that. I can only ask you to look at what you're being presented, just like in any other case. Don't look at the conspiracy side of things. Don't look at what Alex Jones says or whatever it is. Look at what they want you to know. Wikipedia is admittedly controlled by Israel. So everything you read on Wikipedia is considered balanced and Zionist in nature, according to Naftali Bennett, who is about as high-ranking Israeli as you get. There's only one way all this makes sense, and that's me being right and them being scared of me. Now I'm down to one viewer, 6 likes. So check out all the links in the description. Make sure you try to read the Israel Hayom article. Even though it's going to be difficult, it's going to keep kicking you out. I can't even, I describe it and you're not going to understand it until you see it, because I've never seen another website act this way. I've never seen another website make it difficult for you to take their content. But this one article makes it difficult. It'll keep kicking you out. It'll take you to how Israel destroyed Assad's Syrian navy, and it'll keep throwing ads up, and it'll keep throwing everything off. Yep, just tried to rejoin after another boot, says Karen. So it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the best evidence is what's done to me. If I was wrong, they wouldn't do this. Right? This kind of shit wouldn't happen. This wouldn't be a feed where you're seeing stuff happen that you never see happen in other places. That's your smoking gun right there. So wake the fuck up. Go get your free download. All the links will be in the description. Free download. www.the-bilderberg-group.com. It'll ask you how much you want to pay. It's free. You check that out. I should have it playing and I don't. My bad. And there's a bunch of receipts. There's links to different articles. There's links to, different videos that you can watch. That Hollywoodism video that explains how and why all this is happening. The video of Naftali Bennett admitting they control Wikipedia. The Wikipedia entries for Team Jorge and Act.io. Like, it's all there. I provide you with all the evidence I can. So, have yourself a great day. Go like, share, sub to the Facebook page, like, share, sub here, blah, blah, blah. All the same what everybody else says. Except nobody else gets their comment section shut off like I do. So, wake up, people. They shut the comment section off because you guys start looking stupid, not because of something I'm doing. Your comments are making you look stupid, and every time I address your comments, you look worse. That's why they stop it. But have yourself a great day, and most importantly, you pedophiles, kill yourself.